Welcome back to another edition of the Washington Nationals here on OOTP 27. And as you can see, we are here at the start of the offseason. It is time to build on our success here in 2028 and get ready for 2029. And the first bit of business is going to be accepting all three of these options. Camilo Doval, option for $5 million, coming off a solid season as our closer. He will be back for another season. Let's just go ahead and do that. Boom. Execute the option. Matt Brash. I mean, he might win reliever of the year. I mean, I'd say he's probably the front runner for reliever of the year. And we have him at $1.5 million for another season. Pretty obvious execute option on him. Keegan Akin, he's really good as a middle reliever for us, and he's a channel legend for $1.5 million. He's going to be brought back for another season as well. And then Sandy Alcantara, I was actually expecting him to opt into another year of like 13. I forget what exactly he opted out of. I think it might have just been 13 again. But he opted out. He opted out. He had a player option. And he's testing free agency. He put together a 3-win season. I guess he figured that he could get some more on the market. And he's going to free agency, so I doubt we're going to be able to go. I doubt we're just going to go after him because I just think we have some young arms. We'd rather see what they can do for us rather than having somebody like Sandy Alcantara, who was a nice stopgap for us, put together a really good season here in 2028 with a 3-win year. Was quite good in the postseason as well. 3 starts, 15 and a third innings, 2.93 ERA, 3.57 FIP. Struck out a ton of guys, walked a bit more guys than usual, but still a solid showing for him. As we wish him luck in free agency, but I doubt we're going to be giving him the money that he wants. I don't know. It depends. I doubt we're going to give him we're not going to give him a 5-year deal, but if he's interested in like a 1 or 2 year thing, we might be able to do that. But we'll see what's out there. But for now, he is off the free agency. Also, we have a new budget here. That is slightly up from last year. It goes from $240 million to $244 million. And we still have our budget and everything cranked up super fucking high. So we can just put this on like the usual, I don't know, let's just say like 28 and then put this on, come on, can we actually get what I want here? Well, usually I have this around like 10, something like that, but I like to have it somewhere around like there, just to have like a little bit of money to spend in the draft. This, I don't know why this number is always glitched at. It has been forever, but 6.5 is the cap. I've looked. Okay, yeah, so it does adjust it by revenue sharing. So it's 6.6 this year, so we should definitely adjust that number. It was 6.5 last year, so it's 6.6 this year. Boom, we got that. Scouting, we don't need this to be 20. Usually I have this like 18. We'll do like 18. So removing all that, and we've got $60 million of total money available, and we could still possibly get some out of this. Maybe they lower this to 25. So we got some flexibility there. And we don't really have anybody who we want to like extend right now at the moment. Maybe Eli Willits, but I think I want to get like one more season of him. I don't want to jump the gun with Eli Willits on an extension. But I mean, he already does want like a good amount of money here. So maybe we do extend Eli Willits this offseason. We'll have to see. Sakura possibly. Sirota maybe. So yeah, maybe there are some more potential extension options than I thought. But we've got some money to spend. We've got some money to spare. And I'm interested in seeing what we can do with it. And just a rough little outline of what we think the roster is going to look like this season. We have such a young team and such like solidified places at the moment that there isn't really much to do, I feel like. We have guys that are solidified in their spots. With pitching, it's probably just going to be like replacing Alcantara, one of our young guys. So it's going to be Fluky, Prelip, Estes, Sakura again, and then Alcia will probably give a shot to. It might backfire in us that we've got these young guys just getting spots, but we've got other young guys who could come up, and I just would rather give these young guys shots rather than blocking them with depth guys. But if there's like a super interesting pitcher out there in free agency, we might give it a thought to sign somebody, but I'm thinking we're just going to roll with this as our 5 starters. In the bullpen, it's just going to be returning Doval, Morejón, Brash, Little, Akin, Santos, and Rodriguez. And then that 8th spot is going to be one of these guys. It's either going to be Kahanowitz, it's going to be Yarlin Susana, who might be better off to be a reliever. As a starter, he's got a 45 potential now. As a reliever, the stuff goes up a ton. You can see here it's a 70 potential. As a starter, it's only a 60. I guess it goes up 5. But still, you'd think he'd be better off with the 35 control as a reliever. And he might end up with that spot depending on how he develops over the offseason. We've got Robinson Ortiz as an option. We've got Clayton Beater, who spent all last year in AAA after being an actual good option for us the past 2 seasons in the big leagues. But yeah, Clayton Beater's there. We've got these 4 guys as an option for that last spot. And we've got depth. We've got Alex Clemmie, who unfortunately tore his elbow ligament last year and missed like the whole season. We've got Jackson Wiggins, who we claimed off waivers. He might be a guy that we end up not keeping around, might get DFA'd at some point. But for now, he's on the roster. So we've got depth, we've got guys in place, and I don't really think there's anything really to add here to the bullpen. I think we can just run back pretty much what we have in the system. And then it's going to be a similar thing with the lineup, honestly. I feel like Harry Ford at catcher. Let's just go through positions here. Harry Ford at catcher. Seaver King is probably going to step in and be our second baseman, replacing Gleyber Torres, because I'm not interested in extending Gleyber Torres for like a multi-year, like 13 around there $1 million AAV. So we're not interested in giving him that. So Seaver King is ready to be the starting second baseman. So he's going to go in there and be the starting second baseman for us. Brady House at third base. We've talked about him. He's got that pop. You look at his percentile rankings and just what his profile looks like, and it's like he's got to be able to break out and have like a really good season for us. And then he drove in a ton of runs for us last year too. He's a run producer. He's a leader. He's like an elite defensive third baseman. So, might as well be the third baseman. Eli Willits obviously is going to be our shortstop. Dylan Cruz will be in left field. Mike Sirota will be in center. Bellinger will be in right. And then James Wood is at DH. Basically, the only thing that's up in the air is what are we going to do about first base DH? Is Wood going to play first base? Is Wood going to be DH? Is first base going to be some sort of, maybe, like right now, the platoon of James Tibbs against righties as the left-handed bat? Possibly develop a little bit more. Be the right-handed bat against the left-handed bat against righties, and then we have Rosario as the right-handed bat against lefties. That could be an option for us, and I think that might be the way we go, at least to start the season, and then do another thing where we trade for like a mercenary first baseman at the deadline, because I just don't think we want to extend Spencer Torkelson as a first baseman for $30+ million. Obviously, he's like an elite hitter, but I'm just not in the business of paying first baseman that type of money, even though we've already done that with, and especially since we've already done that with James Wood, who is basically just a first baseman at this point. And then some of our guys are a bit more expensive through arbitration, like James Outman, who we'll probably bring back as the fourth outfielder just because he's good in that role. He'll probably go up to like 4.2, but I'm fine with that. Amador will probably step in as the backup infielder role that Seaver King was in last season. He had a really good season for us in AAA. So it's just a lot of things that just make sense. I don't feel like we need to go out and add anything. So it might just be kind of a boring offseason this year of just kind of maybe adding some marginal stuff around the roster, some depth things, and then seeing just how it shakes out. And then like I mentioned with depth and some of the young guys, we've still got some of these dudes who look like they could be closest to the big leagues, like Alex Rouse, who might end up on the big league roster at some point in 2029, maybe more ideally 2030. But he's, he could feasibly be on the team here. His cutter is finally starting to develop. The fastball and sinker are up. You can look at the scouting here. Some of this has gone down, but like his velo went up. And he's a 40. He's coming off a not great season in AA, but we'll see how it goes. Still, obviously, a very intriguing prospect. We've also got Jerry Harris, who was our second overall pick in 2028 out of Memphis. The two-way guy, and you can see here, we put him straight to high A, and he just dominated. 11 starts, 2 wins, 147 ERA plus, 62 FIP minus. Struck out a ton of guys. You look at his ratings with pitching. He's got a ton of potential. He's already looking quite solid. This is relative to MLB, remember. Already looking pretty developed here. He's 22. The hitting starting to be around the 40s as well. That the potentials there look crazy. I mean, he's going to start next season in Double-A, and he might be a fast riser that ends up on our big league team at some point next season. Maybe this is the way to go. Maybe we rock Tibbs and Rosario as that platoon at first base for the first half-ish of the season, and then we get towards the end of the season with the expansion, and then boom, Jerry Harris is on the team pitching and DHing, and James Wood becomes the first baseman. That could totally be something that we do if things all work out perfectly. And then it's not just those guys. We've got Hunter Dietz, who had another season in Double-A. Not as good as it wasn't a great season, but, he's a guy who, on paper, looks like he could be a pitcher in the big leagues for us. He might be in Triple-A even to start next season. We've got Landon Harmon, who ended the season in Double-A after being most of the year in High A. A-ball the year before. He's somebody who could be interesting. He's a 50 potential starting prospect. We got Ben Gardenhire here, who was our 6th-round pick last season, already in High A. He was really good in High A. Lots of good percentile rankings here. Now, the K is not great, but he's not going to be a high K guy. He's a high movement control guy. He's somebody who could be a fast riser. He's probably going to be in Double-A to start next season. We've got in Triple-A, we've got Luis Perales is still here. He might be more of a reliever at this point, but he's not in the 40-man. But he is still on the organization here as a 50 potential guy. Riley Maddox could be an interesting starting option for us in the big leagues. He's coming off a good season in Double-A. We've got a bunch of 45, 50 type guys who can step in and be serviceable starters or depth guys in the big leagues. So I'd rather have these guys play than bring in a similar quality player as a guy in free agency. So, like I said, it's going to depend what's out there, but I feel like we've got the depth, we've got the pieces in place. It's all about guys just continuing to develop. A couple other guys that are going to be definitely on our radar this season: Angel Feliz, coming off a 4-win season in Double-A Harrisburg. I mean, just crazy good numbers in Double-A as a 21-year-old. He's almost 22. He expects to be in the big leagues. He is eligible for the Rule 5, so this guy will be on our 40-man roster over the offseason. And he could possibly be like a second baseman, third baseman type guy for us. So he's definitely somebody we've got our eye on here as a potential bat at the big league level. He's a high leader as well. Miguel Cime Jr., he was in Double-A to end the season, and he performed quite well. He's a 40 overall right now. Let's get an updated scouting report on him. And he's developing. He's looking very nasty with the strikeouts throughout the minor leagues. He's Rule 5 eligible, so he will also be on the 40-man roster here as he's a potential depth option for us. He's also a prankster and a leader, so that's crazy. We could even do something where instead of doing a Tibbs-Rosario platoon, maybe even give Michael Tolley another shot at first base because he's still in the organization. We waived and DFA'd him. Nobody wanted him, so he was in Triple-A, and you can see here a bit too good for Triple-A. And some of his underlying stuff here with the barrel percentage, the hard hit rate, the average exit velo, the max exit velo, all this stuff, still kind of intriguing with him. So he could end up being our first baseman next season again. We'll have to see. We've got some options, but I think I'm leaning towards we're going to be in-house with the first base situation, and we're not really going to be going out and picking up anybody unless there's somebody that's really, really intriguing. And honestly, now that I'm looking at the arbitration here, like Jack Kahanowitz, $3.8 million for a middle/long reliever guy. Probably not what we're going to do there. So he's probably going to be somebody we look to shop, trade, or just straight up non-tender. Don't think he's going to be on the team next season. Little will bring back, Santos will bring back, Narvaez will be back as the backup catcher. Tolia depends on what we decide to do with first base, but he might just be somebody we non-tender, or we could bring him back. Who knows? Christian Moore, will probably bring him back as he has an option as a depth guy, and he's still intriguing enough to where I'd want to bring him back at $1.8 million. Brady House will obviously be back. We might even extend him. We'll see. James Outman, $4.2 million for a backup is kind of steep, but I think we might still end up doing it because I think he's still intriguing enough of a player. But we'll consider our options with him. He's a maybe about being extended. And then Alcantara here, If we just go straight up offer extension, he wants 5 years, 19 million AAV, and the QA is 23 million. So I'm tempted to just give him the QA, and if he accepts it, cool. We got a 1-year deal on a guy who's probably going to be at least serviceable for us, and it allows us to push some of those guys down to the bullpen like Alicia, or we just get a draft pick for him. I think that's what we're kind of doing here. Morejon, though, is somebody who will probably not be back. Don't think we're going to extend him, but I think we are going to QO Alcantara. I think we're going to do that. I'm 100% sure though. So we'll come back to this, but it's definitely something I'm considering. Alrighty, so we have added our players to our first run through the player development lab. One thing I've done is I've dropped the amount of slots from 16 down to 12. Default is 8. I think in the Marlins series I ran 10. I think 16 is a bit too much, so we're going to do 12. We're going to settle on 12 for now. And we're doing 11 that are going to be the long programs for the whole offseason into spring training, and then we're doing 1 that was suggested by a subscriber. I might leave the screenshot of the comment if I can remember to do that before I upload this, but basically we're going to be improving outfield defense, at least attempting to. Then we're going to be improving infield defense, and we're going to be trying to make him learn a new position, and hoping that combo, that trio of development programs is going to help James Wood become a bit more valuable of a player, whether that's making him learn right field and increasing his outfield, and maybe increasing his outfield. And if they're all successful, it would be fantastic. So that's what we're trying to do here with James Wood, get him 3 programs over the offseason. And then the rest of the guys, Eli Willits trying to tap into some of this power potential. We want his bat to start and develop here because he's going to be our full-time shortstop heading into 2028. Seaver King trying to tap into some power development here because he's going to be our starting second baseman. And right now he's mainly kind of just a slap hitter with a little bit of gap power. But if we could add some more pop to the mix, maybe look like a bit better of a player here. So Seaver King trying to add some Juan Padilla-type boosts to his profile. James Tibbs trying to add some gap power. He already has 50 power at 50 potential, but he has this 40 gap power with 50 potential, so I figured maybe try to get this filled in, as the plan is he's probably going to be our starting first baseman, depending on what we do with Tolia, but, figured I would throw him in here. And then plus he's got all this really good adaptability, work ethic stuff, so I figured that would help him out in the lab as well. Harry Ford still has some untapped potential here with his gap power and his power. I figured why not try to get his power tapped into, make him a bit more valuable of a hitter. He's already quite valuable for us, but if we can get him up to like a 15, 20 home run sort of player, that would be fantastic. Edwin Alcia, Cameron Flukie, and Travis Sikora are all trying to improve their control. Alcia has some untapped control here to get it up to 50. Flukie was the guy who just had the most control issues for us this past season, so if we could get this up to 45, maybe even get a 50 potential bump for it, that would be fantastic. Unfortunately, he is a low adaptability baseball IQ guy, but we're still trying it nonetheless. And then Sikora, same thing with him, trying to maybe get a potential boost here on his control. And then we threw in Yarlin Susana, trying to improve his secondary pitches, maybe getting a boost on the changeup or the curveball here, and finally tapping into this stuff, because that stuff is what makes him a good pitcher. If he's not going to tap into that stuff potential, he's never going to be what you would hope he would be. And then there is also going to be Alex Rouse, who was our first-round pick in 2027. We are trying to tap into his secondary pitch improvement as well, trying to either get this sinker or primarily this cutter up. This was 25, now it's 30. If we could get this up into like the 35-40 range and get that a bit more improving, that would be fantastic. Then also Jerry Hughes Harris, our first-round pick in 2028, the two-way guy. The one single flaw that he has in his profile, he's got all the stuff when it comes to pitching. He has all the stuff when it comes to hitting, except for his BABIP potential is 45. So I figured, why not throw him in for a BABIP development program and see if we could get this up a little bit and just make him an absolute superhuman of a baseball player. as he continues to develop in our system. And then Angel Feliz coming off his 4-win season in Double-A. We are trying to tap into his plate discipline because everything else already looks pretty good. He has no potential on his Avoid K, but the BABIP, Gap Power, and Power is all developing nicely already, and I figured why not try to get a potential boost on the eye and make that a bit more of a weapon for him rather than just relying on being like a making contact all the time sort of guy. We have now reached the point of the offseason where the awards have been given out, and the National League's MVP here in 2028 was Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres. Kyle Schwarber, at age 35, almost 36, was the runner-up with 52 home runs and 116 ribbies, a .551 slugging, all led the league, and just a crazy, crazy year for a veteran Schwarber. Elly De La Cruz finished in 3rd place. Did we have anybody who get MVP votes? James Wood got 1 point. So, not a lot going on there for us. Lots of Cubs on this list I'm seeing, though, and we beat them in the playoffs, so who's the real winner? The American League MVP belongs to, of course, Aaron Judge, who gets just basically runs away with the award. He puts together another insane season, 6 WAR, 202 WRC+, 53 bombs, 122 ribbies. I mean, leads the league in fucking everything. He's like 100th percentile in like everything. I mean, he's crazy. He's absolutely insane. I should also mention, I'm noticing that Ohtani is not anywhere on this National League list. So I'm curious what exactly he looks like right now. Still very, very good on paper. Had a very good offensive season, but it looks like the pitching is really starting to fall off for him here. Yeah, the pitching no longer looking like he's a pitcher. Honestly, at this point, if I was them, I would just make him the full-time DH. He's also wrecked at this point, so it's just not a lot of good stuff going on with Shohei Ohtani when it comes to him as a pitcher. As a hitter, yeah, a pitcher, I mean, even 55 here, I don't really think, I mean, I guess with the BABIP, but I mean, he's like not performing like he's a 55 overall. He's a DH at this point. He's a full-time DH. There's no reason why you should be pitching him at this point. I mean, you're just cutting into his playing time. He'd probably get hurt less if he was just a DH, but who knows? Ohtani, not quite Ohtani anymore. And then over in the National League Cy Young Award winner, that was Michael King of the Chicago Cubs. He put up a 3-win season, led the league in ERA and BABIP. He gets the Cy Young. Spencer Schwellenbach behind him. Chad Patrick, who he faced in the playoffs, was 3rd. And then Matt Brash actually got some NL Cy Young votes here, as we will get into a little bit here. He won the Reliever of the Year. In the American League Cy Young, Cole Reagans, as I predicted, he had a crazy season with Toronto. Trey Yesavage was also on this list as well with Toronto. The National League Skipper of the Year was actually our very own Blake Butera. Only has 1 more year left on his deal, and I doubt I bring him back after that deal, to be honest, because he's probably going to start getting too big for his britches. He's already starting to get some yellow on here. And we're probably just going to let him walk at the end of his deal anyways. Even if he wins another Manager of the Year, still not going to bring him back. The Rookie of the Year in the National League was Kemp Alderman of the Miami Marlins. Looks like he ran away with the award. He hit 22 home runs for a Marlins ball club. And then Jesus Mate was the runner-up. We saw him in the playoffs. The American League Rookie of the Year was Nate George of the Baltimore Orioles. Their all-world defensive center fielder, 75 range, 80 grade speed. This guy's very, very intriguing. Put together a 3-win season here in his first campaign in the big leagues. And then moving things on to the National League Silver Sluggers, where we did not have anybody on this list because DH would have been James Wood, but he's outdone by Kyle Schwarber. And then over on the American League Silver Slugger, I mean, we don't give a shit about that. But the National League Reliever of the Year, Matt Brash, runs away with the award. Crazy year for him in the bullpen, 110 innings pitched in 75 games, 20 ERA plus, a 76 FIP minus, striking at a ton of people, not walking anybody, not giving up any home runs. Matt Brash was fantastic this season for us, and as we know, he is back for another season at $1.5 million again. Runner-up was Orion Kirkring of the Philadelphia Phillies, beating out Mason Miller as well with the Padres still. And then over on the American League side of things, it's Yohan Duran with the Houston Astros now. The past 2 seasons he's been there, and he continues to just be absolutely insane. I mean, a 34 FIP minus. That's a 140 FIP. That's fucking absurd. And then last but not least, we do actually have a Gold Glove winner here in 2028 as Brady House wins the Gold Glove at third base here in the National League. I should also mention before we actually hit free agency, I've been back and forth on whether or not I want to bring back Alcantara or if I want to QO him because he was asking for like 19 million AAV, but now he's asking for 22 million multi-year deal. So I figured he's probably not going to accept the QO, and we're probably pretty safe to give him this, and he'll probably decline it. We get a draft pick, he goes to free agency, and even if he does accept it, it's fine. We've got the money to handle it, and we'll just have him for one more season. You know, usually I wait till the end of the offseason to check in and talk about things that happen in free agency, but I just need to just talk about this Dave Santana guy. He's one of these players who comes over already established. He's a Cuban guy. He's about to be 22 years old, and he looks like he's the greatest pitcher of all time. Now, this is all very low accuracy. I'm trying to get him scouted. I don't think we're going to be able to get him, though, because just a rough idea of what he's asking for. A 15-year contract with an opt-out after his age 28 season where he then just gets $60 million through the heart. I mean, $60 million per year. Yeah, but we can't afford this fucking guy. $802 million over 15 years. It's just not happening for this guy. We're not going to be able to get him. All right, so we have reached a pivotal point of the offseason here. We have 2 different offers out because I didn't think that we were going to be able to get Torkelson. I looked at him for a bit. I offered him a deal. I tried to offer him like a 3-4 year deal for a bit less than he was asking for, and he just kept being like, no, I want some long-term deal. I want some long-term deal. And now he came begging back to me. He was like, please give us a deal. So we gave him a deal. We offered him a, what is the offer? It's 4 years, 132 million. It's like 32 or 33 million per year for 4 years through like his age 32 season or whatever it is, or 33, something like that. It's a reasonable deal for this type of production at first base. We already know that he hits well in the park. I figured why not try to give him the contract, but then before that, when I thought that we weren't going to be able to get him, I also offered Murakami because I was like, he's got this big pop, he's got the eye. Obviously, there's way more swing and miss and less BABIP and gap power than there would be with Torkelson, and also less proven production because Murakami has not really done too much in this universe. He's been like okay-ish. He's had some like decent home run years, but nothing too crazy. But I figured he would be a decent replacement at like $15-ish million for Torkelson. But now Torkelson wants to come back, so now we don't want both of them, obviously. So we have to decide, do we want to risk that Torkelson's going to like screw us? Like right now he favors the offer, but if I withdraw it from Murakami, is Torkelson going to be like in 3 days he's going to go, oh, actually I want this huge raise on what you already offered me? I think we have to take it. I think we have to consider it because we'll figure it out anyways. We'll figure it out if we can't get Torkelson, but I think we need to at least try to see if we can get Torkelson. So Murakami, he's going to hate us, but we're removing the offer on him, and we're going to see if we can get Torkelson in the building. And then look at that, Sandy Alcantara just signed with the Texas Rangers, so we get ourselves a little compensation first-round pick. That helps us out in the draft in the upcoming season. Alrighty, folks, we have reached the point in the offseason where our international free agent class has come together. And just going over quickly these guys, the best of the bunch is Esteban Rubio, a Dominican catching prospect, 17 years old. Looks like he could be a really good bat with 60 framing. Not a great arm, but he has the 60 framing with the really good bat. We picked him up for $2.8 million, a bit more expensive than a guy that I usually go after, but we managed to snag him just straight up from the original offer that we gave him. And then we picked up Willie Gonzalez, an extreme risk reliever. who I guess he could actually end up being a starter if these pitches end up developing. So like a starting potential bulk reliever sort of guy, stuff, movement, 4 good pitches, 45 stamina, extreme risk, obviously, 16, almost 17 years old, out of the Dominican Republic for $470,000. Then we picked up another Dominican in Ernie Hernandez, 17-year-old outfielder, 80 grade gap power with some decent contact power and eye to go with it, 80 grade speed with the stealing ability, decent corner outfielder. He was picked up for a little over $1 million. And then we had a reliever in Ismael Lepe, a lefty out of Venezuela. He looks like he has some crazy stuff, good hold runners, high adaptability and baseball IQ. Picked him up for $950,000. He's a bit older. He's almost 19 years old, actually, and he could probably just maybe not go straight to Carolina, but or the Carolina League, rather, but a bit older of a prospect. And then we picked up another outfielder in Rafael Osegueda, an outfielder from the Dominican Republic who looks like he could be a really good bat with some crazy gap power, avoid K, I, high adaptability, baseball IQ. Once again, pretty solid corner outfielder, 17 years old for $900,000. And then there was another outfielder in Luis Hurtado who looks like he's going to have some crazy good pop to go along with some BABIP and I. Obviously crazy swing and miss issues, but switch hitter with this sort of bat profile as a potential first baseman. We're just going to make him first base right away because there's no way he's playing the outfield ever. Dominican for $600,000. And then the final one was Pedro Villeda, a right-handed reliever who looks to be decent. We got him for quite cheap at $220,000 out of the Dominican Republic. So that was our IFA class. We picked up 7 guys this offseason in this IFA class, and yeah, that's it. Alrighty, folks, we have reached opening day 2029, which means it is now time to go over everything that happened in the offseason and go over what the 2029 Nationals open day roster will look like. So starting from the beginning of the offseason to the end, obviously, the first thing that really happened was Sandy Alcantara declined his player option, and then we gave him a QO. He declined that, so we have a first-round supplemental pick for Sandy Alcantara signing with the Texas Rangers here through his age 37 season, which is definitely not something we were even remotely interested in doing. So the Texas Rangers continue to be a team that just signed these players to these like late 30s deals. At least that's what I think of with the Rangers. When I look at their roster now, I'm like, man, they got a lot of guys that are signed to some really not great deals. Alrighty, so starting things off with the beginning of the offseason here, Sandy Alcantara declined his player option. Then we offered him a QO. He declined that as well, so we get ourselves a supplemental first-round draft pick for Sandy Alcantara signing a 5-year, $88 million deal with the Texas Rangers over the offseason, which is something we were definitely not going to give him at this point of his career. Moving things on, we then gave a ton of different extensions this offseason. Some small, some big, some just kind of like buying out a couple years of arbitration. But overall, we'll start things off just listed in order here. Mike Sirota, a 7-year, $38.3 million extension to be our center fielder. He's got that 70 range. We're hoping that he's going to be a bit better in center this year than he was with his -3 ZR. You look at his profile and you're like, he should be able to be a really good center fielder. We like the bat as well. And Mike Sirota is now committed to a long-term. Mike Sirota! As we take a look at it year by year here, it's very, very team-friendly. I have it right here. I wrote down what the arbitration estimates were. The arbitration estimates were 2 years of league minimum at $830,000, then 4.2, 6, 8, and 9.5. So we upped his league minimum years a little tiny bit, but then we got some more value on his arbitration years, where this was like 200,000 less. This is 500,000 less. This was 500,000 less, and this is also 500,000 less. And then we have 1 year of free agency bought out in his age 31 season at $10.5 million. We also extended Luke Little. I mean, not really an extension, just a one-year deal. Bought out his arbitration, another arbitration year for him. Brought him back. James Outman, same with him. Same with Christian Moore. Same with Carlos Narvaez. But then Brady House was extended to a 5-year deal worth $38.8 million. And he was another guy where we just kind of bought out his arbitration. He had 3 more years left of team control. These were all much lower than what he was expecting, what he was projected to get. He was projected to get 3.4, then 6.5, and then 9. So this is all way less than that. And then these are both free agent years at 10.5, at 28, and then 12.5 as a team option at 29. So I don't want to extend him super, super long term because he hasn't really proven that quite yet. But this is still quite good value because you're just getting the rest of his team control at less than he was projected to get, and 1 year of free agency guaranteed. So this is 4 more years of Brady House for us. And then we did some more extensions as Travis Sikora, 8 years, $44 million flat. Very, very, very team friendly. If this man develops into what we think he is going to be, a stud pitcher for us, well, then we've got him locked up on this extremely team-friendly deal. I mean, the last year of his age 32 is a team option at $10 million. So if he turns into like a frontline starter, we're getting him for less than $10 million the entire length of the contract. I mean, that's pretty damn crazy. So Sikora is extended. We also extended Gregory Santos. We bought out the final 2 years of his team control at $1.5 million, and then we also gave him a team option for a free agency year at $1.5 million. Because we all know I love these guys with the big movement. He's a big movement guy. He had a good year in our bullpen last season, so I figured why not give him a chance to be around for a few more seasons. And then we moved things on to extending Edwin Alcia, who is another guy who we think could be a very good pitcher for us in our rotation long term as an 11th round pick for us out of USF. Gave him an 8-year, $29 million extension. I mean, he didn't have the greatest showing in the big leagues in his first showing in the big leagues last year, and the arbitration reflected that. So I was like, I think this guy is going to develop. I think he's going to be good. So why not extend him long term and just get some crazy, crazy team-friendly deal on him. So if he develops, did not mean to back out on that. If he develops, then this is just really, really crazy value. And we expect him to be a good pitcher for us, hopefully. And then we also gave an extension to Seaver King, a 6-year, $31.5 million deal to be our second baseman. Unfortunately, this was 50 and 55 at the end of last season. Now it's 45 and 50 again. But he's still going to be heading into the season as our second baseman. And even if he doesn't end up as a long-term starting second baseman, this is totally fine as like a super utility bench guy deal. I mean, this is not anything outrageous. So I'm totally fine with this extension. And he's extended. And also, I will get into possible somebody who might take his spot at some point later on this season. But for now, Seaver King is the second baseman. And then the other big extension that we did was Eli Willits to a 10-year, $88.8 million deal because he is our shortstop of the now and the future. Still a 45, unfortunately, but 65 potential is still there. He could still pick it at shortstop at a high level. We're expecting him to be like a Nasim Nunez type bat this season probably, but I mean, you'd have to imagine that this eventually starts developing, right? Right? I mean, that's what we're hoping for. He's 21 years old. We gave him this extension, and it's very team-friendly on the condition that he is able to fulfill, like, his potential. If he does develop his potential, then this is quite team-friendly. If not, then we've got a guy who's a Nasim Nunez locked up through his age 30 season for 10 years. Like, if we look at what his arbitration projections were, it was the first 2 years were league minimum, so we gave him just $1 million flat, gave him a raise on those. But then, after the 2 league minimum seasons, it was a 5.3, and then it was 7.8, then a 10.2, and then an 11.7. So then we saved that on those arbitration years, and then we tried to lock him up for 4 free agency years. So if he develops and he turns into this all-world shortstop, this is very, very good value. But if not, definitely a bit risky. Definitely a bit risky, kind of like the Cameron Fluky deal that we have. But we're hoping these guys develop. You know, you'd have to imagine that they're going to develop, and that's what we have to believe. And That's what we're hoping. And then you can ignore this Michael Toglia deal because we extended him before we thought that we were going to be able to bring Torkelson back, which we did end up doing. But Toglia ended up trading him to the Tampa Bay Rays. He was a 50 at the time that we traded him, had a decent amount of teams interested, so I figured why not send him to the Rays? And in return, we were able to get... we gave them a prospect as well because they were interested in this guy. And in return, we were able to get... Cardell Thibodeau and Caden Bodine. Caden Bodine, the former Coastal Carolina catcher, who has not really developed into anything in this universe. He's our AAA catcher at this point in time. And then Cardell Thibodeau is a Southern University... Where is this? Southern University and A&M College in Baton Rouge. He was a 16th round pick in 2025. He's very fast. He has an interesting profile here. Could be a possible like fourth outfielder type at some point. He's a high leader, work ethic, baseball IQ guy. So, interesting. Definitely useful to have around. He's in AAA for us at the moment. We did also bring on a Rule 5 selection, Boston Barrow here. Usually I wait till a guy is 25 until I take him in the Rule 5, but I figured he's a 45 potential. He's nothing too crazy. I just thought that he might be an interesting depth infielder, super utility sort of guy at some point. He's a high work ethic, so I figured why not take him. And he is currently on he's currently on the active roster, but if he ends up... if we end up needing that roster spot at some point, then we can just, cut him, send him back to the Mets organization. But for now, he is on our bench, at least to start the season, as like a defensive replacement, occasional infielder, and pinch runner sort of player. And then the one single free agent deal that we made this offseason was bringing back Spencer Torkelson to be our first baseman. He is back, folks. We know that he can hit here. He proved it. He was very good for us down the stretch. He was good in the postseason. And now he's with us for 4 more seasons at $33 million flat for each of those years. Age 29, 30, 31, and 32 for $33 million. It's basically on the same trajectory as Cody Bellinger. It's the exact same trajectory as Cody Bellinger. So these guys could potentially be on the team for the next 4 seasons, and then that'll open up a bunch of money heading into the 2033 season. So they're on the same track, and we're excited with what Spencer Torkelson's going to do for us here in the lineup for the next 4 seasons. We also claimed Hagen Smith off of waivers from the Chicago White Sox, who has not really panned out in this universe, has gotten some chances in the big leagues, but hasn't ever really done anything, and he's a guy who on waivers had options, so we claimed him. He's on our 40-man, but he's going to start the year in AAA for us as a potential bulk reliever. Probably not a starter with 35 control, but definitely a potential bulk reliever type of guy. Hagen Smith out of University of Arkansas, former first-round pick in 2024. He was the 5th overall pick. And then before we get into what the roster is actually looking like, I should mention that Miguel Cime Jr. is on the 40-man roster, or at least was. Now he's on the 60-day IL because in spring training, he tore his UCL. So Miguel Cime Jr. not going to be on the team this season, unfortunately. We're still hoping that he's going to be able to come back next season, develop a bit more, and possibly be a relief option for us at the big league level. But taking a look at our team on the hitting side of things, it's basically the exact same lineup, except instead of Gleyber Torres, it is Seaver King. It's Harry Ford catching, James Wood DH, Spencer Torkelson first, Cody Bellinger right field, Dylan Cruz in left, Brady House at third, Eli Willits, Mike Sirota, and then Seaver King second, rounding things out. On the bench, it's Narvaez as our backup catcher once again. Amador is our backup infielder. He could possibly mix in with Seaver King a bit more. We might even do something where it's like every third game is Amador. Honestly, I kind of like that. Every third game is Amador, so it's him and King sharing the duties a bit at second base. And then we also have Boston Barrow here as the secondary backup infielder. And then James Outman is our 4th outfielder to start the season. The pinch hitters obviously move around a bit depending on if it's righty or lefty. But the lineup stays the same. And then the pitching side of things, the rotation is Fluky, Prelip, Estes, Sikora, and Alcia. And then in the bullpen, it is Camilo Doval, with Luke Little and Matt Brash as the double-barrel stopper. I just thought that Luke Little was the better option to be the lefty stopper. instead of Keegan Akin. But, at some point, maybe they solidify themselves in different roles. But for now, that's what we're rocking with here. And then the next tier is Keegan Akin. Clayton Beater is back on the team. Gregory Santos and Jose Rodriguez are also in the middle relief. And then Luis Perales, we're giving him a shot again to be a long reliever / middle relief secondary role. And hopefully he's able to do something for us this season. So that's what the team is looking like here heading into 2029. As far as some of the players who could end up on the big league team that are very exciting prospects, Angel Feliz here, coming off his 4-WAR season in Double-A last year in Harrisburg. He is on the 40-man. We didn't have to burn an option, but he is on the 40-man. He's in AAA to start the season, but he could very well end up being our starting second baseman at some point this season. We are going to be making him play. We'll just do it right now. Boom. Second base, not 98, 97. Boom. So he's going to play every day at second base at the AAA level, work in that position, and at some point he will be ready to play in the big leagues, and he might replace somebody on the big league roster, whether it's Barrow, whether it's Amador. Ideally, I was saying that Seaver King is going to start and then Amador is the backup because I figured he was the more ideal backup sort of guy where he's just kind of this slap hitter who can play good defense. But he is out of options, so we cannot send him down. So it'll probably be Barrow getting off the roster whenever Feliz is ready. But until then, Feliz is going to be in AAA, hopefully raking to start the season. And then once it's just undeniable that he needs to be in the big leagues, then we will be promoting him to the big leagues. And then you have the two big starter arms potentially for the hitting side of things for us. We've got Jerry Harris, who is the potential two-way player. Obviously, signing Torkelson throws a bit of a wrench in things because the ideal long-term plan could have been that Harris was DHing and then Wood moves to first base. But now maybe we end up with something where I don't really know what we end up with, but we might have to trade somebody or something if Harris ends up being the guy that we think. But at least for now, he's in Double-A, looking like he's going to be a crazy starter and a crazy bat. Obviously still has a bunch of developing to do, but so far he's been developing. So we're hoping that he's going to be able to keep developing, and maybe we see him in the big leagues at some point this season. We could have possibly just put him on the big league roster because he's a 45, but I didn't want to throw him in there like we did to Fluky. We want him to keep developing. He hasn't even been to Double-A yet, so we start the season in Double-A, and we'll see how it goes. And then the other one is Alex Rouse. He is still developing. He's also going to be doing another stint in Double-A. He had 16 starts there last season, and we're hoping that he's going to develop and at some point be in the big leagues, maybe this upcoming season as well. Don't know why he's listed as a reliever. He should be a starter, but there you go. Alex Rouse. Some other interesting guys to keep an eye on. Ben Gardenhire, he's going to start the year in Double-A as a lefty. He's currently listed as the closer, but he will probably be a starter at some point. For right now, he's in the bullpen just because we have a bunch of guys in Double-A who are quite good. We also have Landon Harmon, who did need to be added to the 40-man roster, so he is currently on the 40-man roster, but he is starting the season in Double-A, and we're hoping that he can develop a bit more because he's only gotten 9 starts down there, but he does have the 50 potential, so we're hoping that he can turn into a decent arm for us down the line here as well. He's also a guy who, if you look at his scouting, his velocity has been bumped up a ton over the past couple seasons. I mean, really just from the start. He's never been like a huge velo guy in real life, but I mean, going from March 2027 to now, he goes from a 93 to 95 mile an hour fastball to he's now sitting at a 97 to 99 with a potential of 98 to 100 miles an hour on his fastball. Just totally naturally, no development labs for him. So for the velocity, he's just doing that on his own. And then as far as our development programs over this offseason, we'll start things off with James Woods, the 3 that he did, where it was outfield defense, infield defense, and then learn new position. Well, he was unsuccessful at all 3 of those. So we ended up not getting any of the positive developments for any of that stuff. But, James Woods still a very, very good player, even without that development on the defensive side of the ball. And then as far as the first group of the rest of the development labs, James Tibbs did indeed improve his gap rating by less than 5. Harry Ford did improve his potential power and his current power, so he actually has 50 power now. We might see some double-digit home runs from Harry Ford this season. That would be fantastic. Edwin L.C. unfortunately had a poor control development lab, but, it's still 45 out of 50, so nothing too crazy. Cameron Flukie, we don't need to go over the no improvements, but Susana improved his potential and his current on his slider by 5. Alex Rouse had an outstanding improvement to his sinker, so that's what you see here. 50 sinker is now what he has for his fastball sinker combo. And then for the next set, which was the defensive set, we had Cardell Thibodeau improved his defense by a little bit. That's why he has this 60 range. This was 50, now it's 55 in center field. Mike Sirota improved his outfield defense by a little bit, so hopefully that's going to give him a boost to being a very good defensive center fielder along with his bat. We also had Angel Feliz learn a new position, so he's got a bit of a boost to the outfield defense, as well as already being a very, very good infield defender, adding some more versatility to his profile. And then Christian Moore had an outstanding learned first base, so his infield error went up a bit, same with a double play. So he's a bit better defensively in the infield, as well as still having the 60 range in the outfield. He's in AAA for us to start the season. Ronnie Cruz is a player that we have in AA. He improved his infield by learning third base. You could see here he's got 60 range. Interesting little player. Could be a decent bench infielder type. He's going to be in AA to start the season as a 22-year-old. Did play a bit there last season, but he's going to repeat the level at least to start the season. And then also Adel Amador learned first base. So that adds to his flexibility now, as he can play first base along with the other 3 infield positions. And he can play the outfield a little bit as well, but it's more so just left field because the range is not that great. And then as far as the preseason predictions go, the New York Yankees are predicted to win the American League East Division, with the Red Sox and Blue Jays and Orioles behind them, with the Rays in dead last. And then in the Central, it's the Guardians projected to win 90 games, with the Twins and Tigers behind them. In the West, it's the Mariners, Angels, and Astros atop the West Division. While on the National League side of things, the Phillies, Mets, and Nationals projected to win 84 games. The Phillies with 87. Another tight division this year, it looks like, but we always get underprojected. I'm even surprised they expect us to have 84 wins. Respect us more, please. We're definitely going to win more than 84 games. I'm going to book that, guarantee it. And then in the Central Division, the Brewers projected to win 91 games, with the Cardinals and Cubs behind them. The Padres in the West, with the Dodgers behind them, and then the D-backs, Rockies, and Giants all at 74 and 88. Do we have any respect with the hitters? No. No Harry Ford, no James Wood, no Spencer Torkelson, just no respect with the bats whatsoever. And then on the pitching side of things, no respect. Not even, I guess this would all just be starters anyways. I mean, Rossio Iglesias is here. I don't see why Matt Brash can't be here, but he isn't. So no respect for our team whatsoever, as always.